Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be an analysis of some of the more popular futures markets out there for day traders. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a clarification, and that is I'll be using the 1 hour time frame. So if you're a beginner, what that means is each one of these candlesticks, as they're called, represents 1 hour's worth of price action. So another rough day here, especially when you look at the opening part of the day. Very, very big move down. I should probably say what I'm looking at here, but we are looking at the NQ here. And as a reminder, even if you trade the MNQ, because they mirror image one another, what I talk about here can be used on the NQ. But yeah, probably important to point out which indice I'm actually talking about. So we're starting off with the NQ again. And yeah, very brutal start. Did try to bounce, but as you see here, totally rolled right back over. And what I'm curious now about moving forward is going to be that support line right there. I think there's going to be some history with that. Whoops. There we go. I think there will be some history with that in the coming sessions here. So we'll see how the price behaves relative to that area. In fact, right now the price isn't that far away from it. But yeah, we'll see if the price can come down there and bounce up from there. If it does not, then in fact, I'm going to go to the 4 hour time frame real quick. Now each one of these represents 4 hours. But if the price cannot maintain above that trend line right there, then the next key area of support to keep a close eye on moving forward down there right around the 21,315 mark. So 21,315. Next key area of support. Let's go back to the 1 hour time frame though. If the price does try to bounce, that I think the two levels that a whole lot of people are going to be watching. Number one, that area right there at 660. And then the next level after that, right up there at these highs of the let's just call it the 800 mark. So 660 and then 800, two key battlegrounds if this does try to turn itself around. But as of right now, very clear, the bears are in charge. The bears are pressing down with quite a bit of strength. We'll see if either of these areas of support can hold going in the next session. And if they do hold, if they do provide a bounce, then yeah, 660 and 800 will be the key battlegrounds. But a rough start here to the week. Next one here, we are looking at the ES, and again, very rough day. Support levels did a little bit better job of holding. I'm going to get rid of that line there. But the main dynamics really hold and mimic the NQ very, very similarly. Rough start to the day, came down, bounced up, but then rolled back over. Now, the one difference is the NQ actually put in new lows, but the ES here actually did at least not violate that low. So a slightly different scenario headed into next session is, do we have some sort of double bottom? Is this going to want to try to turn itself around and get a move back upwards? That's at least a valid scenario to throw out there. Whereas again, on the NQ, as we just saw, you can't say, oh, is this the double bottom? Because the price put in new lows. So if this is not the double bottom and the price comes down some more, then 59.85 going to be that next key level to watch. But once again, let's go to the 4 hour time frame because we're having to go back quite a bit of ways into the chart's history. If that level does not quite hold up as support, then that's where the floodgates could open up once again as next key level of support, not until really down around the 950 mark. So 59.85 and then 59.50 next. Oh, you can't even see where that level is coming from, but there we go. So right here, price action was behind my ugly mug, but right there you can see this was a former area of support. So definitely keep an eye on these levels from a technical standpoint. And then if there is any, so let's go back to the hourly time frame, but if there is any sort of attempted bounce back upwards, main key battleground, going to be right there at the 60-50 mark. And then you'll also want to watch that purple line there, 50 period moving average. Keyword being moving because as the sessions play out, that line will move itself down lower and lower and get more and more relevant. But as right now, yes, the downward pressure is showing up. But like I said, the interesting dynamic here, is this some sort of double bottom? Let's see what happens in the next session. Next one here, the YM. And the YM, yeah, it had a rough day, but actually even better than the first two. What we have, I think, from the naked eye test, I think we have a slight uptrend in trend. No, not quite. Never mind. All right, so never mind on that one. But what I am going to do here is adjust this level up because it does seem, though, that we now have a key level that a ton of people will be watching, and that's going to be the 43,415 mark. I mean, look right there, bounce off of it, and then right there, bounce off it again. So this is not a great discovery on my part. I assure you a lot of people have noticed that, and I make that comment because when a lot of people are watching the same level and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can produce some very dynamic movement. So 415, one of those areas where you got to think a lot of people will be watching it. So if it comes down there, no guarantees, but it's certainly more than valid on your part to think that it could bounce. But you're also going to have bearish people saying, well, if it fails, I think it's going to get moving down. And I can totally see where they're coming from too. And that's why risk management matters, because somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong. But more of the story there, a lot of people are going to be watching that 43,415 mark. And then if there is any sort of bounce, yeah, you still have the purple line here, but what I'm going to do here is adjust this level down and key dynamic, I think right around 43,820 on any sort of attempted bounce. So who knows, maybe this is starting to enter into some sort of sideways channel over the next couple of sessions. Only time will tell. But of the three indices that we looked at, I would say YM is looking the strongest. Now we're moving into the oil sector and specifically crude. So looking at CL here, and things were very, very rough, but trying to recover. So, okay, well, how can we measure the recovery? How can we know, is the recovery still in the bull's favor? Is it losing? And I think just putting in a good old-fashioned trusty trend line can be very, very helpful in that regard. So in other words, as long as the price stays above that trend line, then I would say the bulls are in control of the current bounce in the upwards direction. Now, there's certainly some big battlegrounds that are going to be coming very quickly. You can see the 50 period moving average, that purple line, the 200 period moving average, that pink line. Those could both present some very big problems for the price, so you want to keep an eye on that. But if the price can push up through there, then that also, gives it that much more possibility to gather some momentum and maybe even make a bigger push back up to, these highs here in the $73 range. But like I said, one hurdle at a time, and the first key hurdle is going to be right there. But again, as far as supports are concerned, that's going to be a level that a lot of people are watching. Some are going to be watching it to play bounces. Others are going to be watching it to look for breakdowns and play the short. And like I mentioned earlier, both of those sides, I totally see where they're coming from. But risk management is the top priority because somebody will be right, somebody will be wrong. But nonetheless, oil is recovering. So let's see if the recovery can at least maintain that trend line there. Next one here, we're moving into the precious metal market and specifically gold. So looking at GC, and after a crazy move downwards here, got to give credit where credit's due. Nice recovery back upwards. I mean, it's still got work to do if it wants to come up here and redo battle with this key area of resistance at the 29.73 mark. But from where the price was earlier on in the session all the way down here to where it was able to battle back to, got to give credit credit's due. The bulls seem to be quite strong, and overall the trend remains in the upwards direction. I mean, yeah, that movement right there was pretty crazy, but all things considered, if we just get a trend line in place right there, you can see that the trend line still very much so in the bulls' favor. And I could have extended that trend line out a little bit more if I wanted to, but that's conveying what I'm trying to get across is that even with these crazy movements to the downside, the overall trend still remains in the bulls' favor. And now I do realize it's all about strategy. If you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within 20 minutes, well, then from that angle, yeah, that move probably just totally destroyed you, assuming you weren't being disciplined. But from an overall standpoint, yes, everything is still perfectly fine, even with these bigger moves to the downside. Now, if the price comes down to that line and just blasts down through it, at that point, the conversation starts to change. But as of right now, bulls are still in full control. Watch that trend line as main area of support, and then keep an eye on 29.73 as that's definitely going to be public enemy number one moving forward in the next couple of sessions. So that wraps up the analysis, and hopefully you saw it at the top of the page, but if not, make sure you check out Take Profit Trader by using that link, claytrader.com/take profit. It's the prop firm that I use, who I recommend. They have a great payment policy. They have a great track record of paying. A lot of good things to like about them. They're open to people pretty much around the world. Now, if you see your country on that list, unfortunately for you, they're not open to you. But if you don't see your country on that list, then they are a way to get access directly into the U.S. market via the futures market. So definitely make sure to check them out. Use that link. Right now, they're offering 50% off their accounts, which makes it a very good deal. So make sure you check them out. As far as these analysis videos are concerned, as always, if you like these, if you want me to keep making them, please hit that like button. And if you're looking for a super free and easy way to support the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So thanks for watching. Take care.